Well, g'day, Pete. G'day, everybody. We promised we'd be back with a fan zone style show, and we're here at half time. If I love just showing these little graphic things. I know it's probably not kosher. It's probably not what you're supposed to do, but it does show you what we're doing here. It is a special edition of this brand new show, the Fan Zone. And what we do is we just put the link out to our show. It'll go out over Twitter and YouTube right now. We just want to react in the moment to what's just happened. I mean, me and you, Pete, we were gearing up for a 1-0 to talk about, but wow, look at what's happened. What do we think? It deserved 1-1.
Oh man, deserved 1-1. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Henderson's chance was huge early on in the match. I think that's something that maybe maybe with a bit more match fitness, a bit more games, maybe a different player, maybe we got 1-0 nice and early, and then the momentum completely swings. The goal we concede, let's face it, whether he meant it or not, it's one of them ones that, if he tries to do that another 10 to 15 times, he'll probably never do it. I think we could have defended that better, and I'm sure we're going to get onto that. But I just feel, 1-1, great, why not?
Well, I think, we've got a lot of people joining us here. If anyone wants to come on and have a chat, please, there's a link there in the Twitter, in our Twitter feed, or whatever you call it, Twitter post. Just click that link, and we've got 10 minutes here in halftime. Just
I've started the time.
Started the time. We've got to get back to that game. We got Tiago's father, obviously one of the captains here at the Red Sea Podcast, saying, "Yes, lads, we've actually got someone who's knocked on the door, Pete. It's our first guest, and it's actually a regular here on the Red Sea Down Under. We got Nick Nova."
Come on,
here
mate.
we go, mate. I tell you what, I'm going to give you this banner to work with. Nick, you can see this down. Was it a penalty?
I actually look at our chat. I actually don't think it was. I actually don't think it was a penalty, only because he went thigh to arm. That's why even in our chat, I said I don't think he's going to give it. And then he goes, has a look, and he turns around and he goes point straight away. And then I hear the crowd even cheer even louder, and I'm like, what the hell happened? And you see a red card in front of Reece James. I'm just like, that's not a red card, man. That is, for me, that's not like a clear cut. Like, I get it was on the line, but because he was thigh to arm, I just thought the red card was too much. I thought yellow card maybe, but even then, I don't think it was a penalty if you ask me.
Pete, penalty? I mean, you may have said it before, but I mean, I was I was just still stunned. I couldn't. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely moves his body in the way to try and block the ball. And okay, yeah, as Nick 100% correct, hits his thigh then hand, but it's not so much how it hit his hand. I think the way he interpreted was the fact that he moved his body in the way to block the ball. So regardless of how it hit his hand first, the intention was to block the ball with his body part. Okay, so 100% penalty. The red card for me was just, I didn't expect that in a million years. I thought that the only thing that shocks me a little bit about that is I hope he doesn't come back in the second half and try and make it even, as referees always do.
You know what it reminds me of? This happened, and I actually said this. Remember this game? I think it was the FA Cup where Drogba absolutely makes a meal of Jamie Carragher, but Liverpool get a penalty early on, or I think that's what it is, a penalty. We're talking 15 years ago now, and I remember saying at the time it's probably one of the worst penalties Liverpool could have got, or one of the worst decisions, because the referee felt like he had to make up for the rest of the game, and then just everything went in Chelsea's favor. And by the way, that was another Chelsea game. Yeah. But the difference here is that this is a much better Liverpool side, with a Jurgen Klopp side that loves the smell of blood, and it's also it's against 10 men, so it's going to be a little bit harder for Chelsea. I don't want to tempt the gods, as they say. But like you said, we don't want the referee, Nick, we don't want that referee coming back and being biased to try and even up things. But I tell you what, I don't think it's a red card. It's a strange one.
Oh, mate, Twitter's already going off with the petitions for Anthony Taylor to stop officiating Chelsea matches, like fans normally spurg out when something bad happens against them. I mean, if there was ever a moment to Spurgate, it would have been for us many years ago with good old Howard Webb, if we remember the old Manchurian undercover copper, as he was known. But a lot of tweet, like even this one here, like Tuchel should do the wise thing by removing Lukaku and bring on a striker with pace. Then others fall back. If not, he will be a basket full of goals in the second half. Pete, what did you make of that Lukaku Van Dijk situation there? Because Matip, you said in the chat, like, there goes Lukaku rolling all of Wise 40 kilograms of Matip running into Lukaku.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think the only time Lukaku looked dangerous was when he was on Matip. And that's not saying anything on Matip. That's saying how good Van Dijk's been. And I think Van Dijk has definitely done the job on Lukaku, as he has in the past, as George and I witnessed live in person. I think the only time Lukaku has looked dangerous is when he's ventured away from Van Dijk and targeted Matip. And then again, what that does is it makes Havertz look better as well as the game goes on. I think, look, Lukaku's looked like that one little dribble he did, then he tripped over the ball and a couple of other little moments, but that's all we've seen. Brief moments of Lukaku. And I hope to God it stays that way, considering they're 10 men down to 1 man down now.
I want to ask you guys very quickly. I'll maybe throw this back to you, Pete. I mean, and by the way, people who are watching this on YouTube or on Twitter, I mean, I think the link is at the moment, because we just scrambled to get on, Pete. So the link is available on Twitter. This is on Periscope live streaming to Twitter. So if you are watching us on Twitter, drop us a comment or click that link and join in. We'll ask you a question about the game. What do you think? Is Liverpool going to win this game? Can they maybe get some goal difference up? I mean, is it still going to be difficult? Let us know. Did you think it was a pen? Do you think it was a red? Please let us know. But you can click that link. We've got to find a way. I'm not sure. This is still housekeeping, Pete. I don't know if we can get that link in the YouTube comments somehow. Maybe we can leave that.
We're learning. We're
learning. But regardless, I mean, are Liverpool favourites here?
I think people turn around and say yes, obviously. Why doesn't, by the way, Thiago's father just jump on? I reckon let's try to get him on. Let's see if he's listening to us now. Let's get him in. No, but I agree what he said earlier. I agree what he said earlier in terms of bringing on Thiago. I think Thiago definitely needs to feature in this match, especially now being 1 man up, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. There he is. There he is. Go. Huh? That's a sick jersey, by the way. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, what a jersey. Yeah. James, how you going, mate?
I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. On the penalty, it's definitely a pen. He's denied a
100%.
He denied a goal scoring opportunity. Whether intentional or not, it's definitely a pen. I think Reece is unlucky to get a red card. I think yellow probably would have been, when I think about it subjectively, I think yellow probably would have been the one. But nevertheless, it's a red and it's advantage Liverpool, isn't it?
This might fly over your head a little bit, James, but us Aussies, we know about this in the World Cup very quickly as we start to get into the second half. Harry Kewell gets sent off because it hits his arm accidentally, and the referees were saying, look, it was accidental, but the rule is if you clear it off the line with your hand, it has to be a penalty. And if the referee here, Anthony Taylor, thinks that it's a handball, he looks to his rule book and he has to give the red. It's a dumb rule. So what we need to do is blame the rule, and I do think it's a dumb rule. And, you know, unfortunately, by the letter of the law, I think the red card is warranted, but I do not agree with it at all.
What about your thoughts on the current midfield then? What change would you make now? Because I agree with what Thiago's father said earlier. I agree in terms of bringing Thiago on, I guess because it's his dad, but I agree with bringing him on. 100% you've got to bring him on.
Yeah, I think Elliott's been sensational. He's been link-up play, he's been great, he's been brave, which you'd expect from a young player as well. There's a couple of chances or opportunities where Jorginho and Kante have literally tried to body him just to shake him up a bit. You know, that kind of welcome to the Premier League kind of tackle. But he's been brave. He's been brave. He's been knitting things together. But we saw what Thiago done when Chelsea went down to 10 last time. It was a passing masterclass. He passed them to death. Now, this is all going to be about controlling the ball and waiting for the right opportunity to hit Chelsea where it hurts. solely because we cannot negate the threat that they have on a counter-attack. They've got Havertz, they've got Lukaku, they've got Mount, very quick in terms of transition, and that's going to be a problem for Liverpool. I did see late on in the second half, Virgil was starting to venture over the halfway line a little bit, and I'm thinking, I don't want to see Virgil in a foot race with any of those right now. Coming back from that injury, I don't want to see him in a foot race. What I want to see is a calm, measured performance where our centre-backs are just recycling possession. They're just recycling possession, because all Chelsea are going to do is hit it long and hope for transition. All you've got to be doing today is mop it up, recycle the ball, let's keep the ball ticking over, because they'll get tired. You pull them from left to right, penetrate, come back in, penetrate a bit more. Someone will get caught napping, and that's when you take your opportunities. And Thiago's perfect for that.
I really agree with that. And there's actually a couple of comments that have come through here. First, we just got to say hi to Joey. He came on the show earlier, the debutant on the Fan Zone. G'day, Joey. Nice to hear from you. If you want to jump on now, just before the second half starts, we'll love to get your thoughts. But there's just something here that Jimmy said, one of the another debutant that was on the Red Sea podcast. It's just this idea that what you're talking about there, James, Thiago's father was saying, the idea that we want to be controlled here, and bringing on Thiago, because Chelsea are going to come in flying. You know, they are rattled, but them losing their heads is them coming out flying and the referee not giving free kicks, trying to make up for his so-called error. So I think what you're saying there, James, is absolutely spot on. The idea of bringing on someone like Thiago, maybe for Elliot, just to be like, yeah, come, attack us if you want to, but Thiago can pass around you.
Yeah, well, and not just that. I think with Thiago, what he brings to the pitch more than anything is how decisive he is at passing forward. He doesn't always have to pass every time. So what's shitting me at the moment with Henderson, okay, give it its rust, give it whatever. It's almost like whenever he's with the ball, it's just blinkers forward, and it's always that lofted one in behind. It's a turnover we don't need at that time. I think with Thiago, he will come on and recycle, as was mentioned earlier, but also when he plays the ball forward, it's a bit more decisive and calculated, and possibly the timing could be better. And I just hope that we do enter the second half with a bit more poise and calm, especially in midfield.
I totally agree with you, Pete. I totally agree with you. Just on that, before we conclude, I just think that now is a good opportunity to start to see what that Chelsea backline is made of. We've got Jota on the pitch now as well, so we've got willing runners. But the last thing that I want to see from Chelsea is for them to bring on Werner. That's a problem, because Werner is an explosive attacker. He's gonna play off the shoulder and try and commit Matip. Probably he's not going to want to get into a foot race with Verge. He's going to try and commit Matip, and the last thing you want to do is see that happen.
All right, well, let's get into the second half, I guess, very, very quickly, just to answer one of these questions here. Would you take the draw now? We think it's going to be a win very quickly. James, Thiago's father.
No, we're going for everything. Go straight for the jugular. No draws. This is the Premier League title. This is an early opportunity to put some daylight between us and the other team. So straight for the jugular. We're going for everything that's at home. Amazing.
Thanks for joining us, James. We'll see you maybe after the game. So good to see you, mate. And Pete and Nick, what are we thinking? Win? Has to
do or
be.
die. Do or die.
Have to. Apparently, Silva and Kovacic are on for Chelsea, so they've already gone for the experience in defense, and Kovacic for more of a defensive run. So, yeah, I wonder who came off for
Silva. Attack Silva. Attack Silva. Attack
36.
Silva. That's it.
So Havertz and Kante have gone off, and Silva and Kovacic have gone on. So Havertz, who scored their goal, is off now. We've got to remember, Rudiger's been booked, and so has Edouard Mendy. So you can probably get at Rudiger if Mane or Jota wants to try and get at Rudiger. There could be something there.
Oh, absolutely, guys. Well, let's get geared up for the second half. It's 3:38 a.m. here in Australia, and everything's starting. Let's go freaking Liverpool. Let's freaking go. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Maybe we'll be back at full time. Who knows? But this has been a version of the Fan Zone. It's been the halftime show. We'll see you again sometime soon.
See ya.